Hello everyone and welcome to this new ROLLERCOIN update video. It's been almost 2 months since our last video, and so many things have happened inside ROLLERCOIN. Precisely for this reason, before making a video, I wanted to calmly observe the effects of the latest changes to form an opinion. Let's go in order and try to tackle all the latest innovations that have been introduced together, and I will share my impressions in a transparent and critical way, always oriented towards those like me who are free-to-play players. You will certainly have realized by yourself that, in recent weeks, the ROLLERCOIN team has decided to change the game quite drastically, introducing a series of changes that have not been welcomed at all by the majority of players. I should better tell you right away, you won't be able to do anything about it. The politically correct answer that ROLLERCOIN provides to users in the various social forums is that, in order to play, you have accepted the terms and conditions of the platform, which I remind you were updated on April 20th, 2023, or less than 2 months ago at the time I am recording this video. And that's it, there's not much more to say. Whether you like it or not, the team is free to make whatever changes they see fit, and it won't do you any good to get angry or think you've been scammed. In this channel, I repeat from my first video, ROLLERCOIN is a game. If someone hasn't understood it yet or is here looking for easy money, please believe me, find in this channel a playlist with a tutorial that I'm trying to keep updated. Do yourself a favor and watch all the episodes from the beginning. I know most of you won't do it because you're in a hurry to get rich without even understanding what you're doing, but for someone there may be some interesting ideas. Let's go to our homepage and see these latest news together. The first is very beautiful, the kind that I appreciate. It is this new skin that was created on the occasion of the 5th anniversary of ROLLERCOIN. Of course I didn't let it get away, and in fact here it is. It's very beautiful and colorful. I'll keep it for a while before putting the summer one on, as we're getting close to the holidays. While we're here, let's talk straight away about the topic that has disappointed most of the players, namely the change of electricity and the introduction of batteries. I'm just making a brief summary for those who are new. To learn more, you will find many resources around, especially in this period. Until a few days ago, electricity was free in ROLLERCOINs. It was enough to log in at least once every 5 days to keep all your miners active. Recently, a couple of weeks ago, the mechanism changed and batteries are now needed to recharge the energy. Energy degrades 1 notch per day, and with it the efficiency of your miners. If you want miners to produce 100%, you have to keep the energy at the maximum level, and to do that you have to recharge it using batteries. This essentially means 2 things. The first is that you must use at least 1 battery a day if you want to mine at maximum power, and the second that, if you don't recharge for 5 days, your miners will stop and your production will drop to 0. So let's see how you can get the batteries. There are several methods. The easiest one is to buy them in the season store. To do this you need RST tokens. As you can see, they are not cheap, and in this way you will not be able to use the tokens for other purchases such as component boxes or, if you have managed to accumulate a decent supply, the special miners that you can only find here. If you want to keep production at 100%, you have no alternative. You need batteries, so it is better that you get a small supply. Batteries can also be obtained by other methods, let's say for free. For example, among the various daily quests, completing at least 1 task now rewards with a battery. In this way, if you are lucky, you will be able to receive the battery you need every day without spending any tokens. In reality, this is not the case because originally the quest rewarded you with RST, but you get the idea. Of course, this method won't work for someone who doesn't have access to the task wall. Sadly, that's part of the unfair aspects of this game. Finally, Some batteries are also obtained as rewards during mid-season events, a very small number, but it all helps. What do I think of this new electricity system? I hope as always to be objective. From a free-to-play gamer's perspective, that's not such a bad idea. In principle, it should do the most damage to idle players, those parasites that only drain resources. Those who thought they had found a resource for passive and effortless income, or at least a good investment, had better turn their brains back on and understand the difference between a game and the real world. For a free-to-play player, on the other hand, it doesn't change much. It's a compromise we have to accept. If we want to survive within ROLLERCOIN, we must necessarily carry out a series of activities with perseverance and determination. Otherwise, I've always told you, we won't have any hope of growth. Batteries don't change our lives. Perhaps our progress will be slower because we will have to consume more resources just to stay afloat, but in the end the mechanism is bearable. So I will go against the tide for many, but I don't feel like condemning this choice. In the long run it favors us free-to-play. A very different matter, however, is for the merge. I have already expressed it in more than one previous video. Again, the formulas were changed, and again for the worse. I honestly don't understand on what basis these seemingly logical decisions are made, but we can only take note. The network power continues to grow, which clearly demonstrates that the intervention was useless and harmful. A reasonable time has now passed for anyone to realize it. This is not how this inflation in the game is solved. At present, merging two miners has become a meaningless and unreasonably expensive operation. Naturally, I always speak from the point of view of normal free-to-play players. For a whale that already dominates the market, it makes no difference. In fact, I have no evidence to prove it, but I am reasonably convinced that today only the top players can merge their miners, the unique ones that can derive some benefit. An average ranked player has no point in merging two miners. Just do some basic calculations. As you can clearly see, I stopped merging myself. With current prices, it's more convenient to keep two miners even if of the same type. In fact, I have racks full of duplicate objects. Who knows, maybe waiting for better times if they ever come. For this reason, I recently bought the 4th room for my mining farm. At the moment, it is the most reasonable choice. If you too are accumulating large quantities of miners, even if low level, and you have run out of space, consider expanding your room, because today it is the most convenient thing to do. The merge with the current formulas and the price reached by the components has no future. The result is that, paradoxically, it is better for you to buy a ready-made miner than craft it by yourself, because by now the whales will always and in any case be able to counter any competition. Speaking of prices, I personally also advise against selling your miners on the marketplace for the simple reason that it is clearly manipulated. Pretending not to notice that the marketplace is prey to bots and scripts means deliberately approving these behaviors, and this is a real shame for those who love the game. Ultimately, you might be able to sell your miners for a ridiculous price compared to their value, so the most cost-effective solution for now is to accumulate as much as you can. The fact that the merge has completely lost its meaning, of course, has also an impact on other aspects of the game, for example on the season itself. I have already highlighted in previous videos that it is not a good idea to buy the season pass in the first few days. As in all things, it is always better to wait until you have a well-defined scenario to make sensible decisions. Normally, at this point of the season, it would be a good time to evaluate the purchase of the pass. We more or less got an idea of the level we will be able to reach within the last day. Unfortunately, all the recent patches also make us doubt that the choice is still advantageous. As you know, in the last few seasons we have been offered some miners of the same type as prizes, with the sole final aim of collecting them all and merging them at the end to obtain a higher level miner. Too bad that the merge is absolutely no more convenient. As we have just seen, so even the past may not be so interesting. I will personally make my decision in the next few days. I don't want to waste your time showing all the other big or small changes that have been introduced recently in the game. You are smart enough to explore and discover everything on your own, plus there are plenty of channels that already do. Instead, let's try to understand if it still makes sense to play as free-to-play, and how to survive. I will try to give you some advice based on my personal experience. Take them as suggestions and then form your own opinion. If this was already a fundamental requirement before, today it has become more and more so. If you want to make some progress, you have to dedicate some time to ROLLERCOIN. There are no shortcuts. If you don't have the time necessary for the daily routine on ROLLERCOIN, today more than ever it's over for you. Sure, you can start spending your real money to stay afloat in the game, but does that really make sense to you? I repeat, to avoid misunderstandings, if you decide to use your real money to buy batteries, new miners, complete events, and so on, do the math yourself and you will find that you will never earn a dollar. Indeed, you are at a loss. You don't have to believe me. Open an Excel sheet and do your math. The money spent will never come back to you. I will soon make a detailed video dedicated to earnings on ROLLERCOIN. For the moment, if you are lazy and don't want to calculate, you have to trust me. In general, it's not a good time to spend money on ROLLERCOIN. Too many things change too quickly. Now it's better to do the most sensible thing or do nothing. You will lose some positions in the leaderboard, as is happening to me too, but the rankings don't count for anything. Don't get distracted. Every day you must try to do the minimum necessary for your survival. This means completing as many daily quests, if possible all of them, and the tasks of the season as you can. You can't complete all tasks every day, so there's no point in getting angry if you can't. Do what you can. Don't get stupid ideas to cheat, for example with the task invite a friend or within the marketplace. Maybe it sounds tempting because so many people do it and nobody seems to do anything about it, but sooner or later someone will get hurt. Don't be stupid, this is a game. Merging with current parts prices and the latest formulas is meaningless. If you have the opportunity, buy a new room instead, otherwise keep saving your RLTs for when you really need them. I remind you that the RLTs are worth absolutely nothing, zero. If you try to exchange them with someone asking for bitcoins in exchange, they will laugh in your face, but inside the game they are precious, and especially as free-to-play games we have to spend them wisely. If you are new, take advantage of every opportunity to get any miner. They are all useful for your growth, and remember that until recently you had to pay for them very, very much. And finally, as you've noticed, this is a time of great change, so wait for more. ROLLERCOIN is changing a lot. Not everyone will always like the news, but I assure you that there will be many more. So the last piece of advice I want to give you is, try to be flexible and ready to change your strategy. If you see that something is not convenient for you, just don't do it, as in my case the merge. In times of uncertainty, the smartest thing to do is nothing. Soon many players will leave, this is now evident. Accounts cannot be transferred, and there is no way to convert into money by selling miners in cash out. In my crystal ball I see that many will do stupid things, and therefore fasten your seatbelts, because if you have the spirit to stay there we will see some good ones. As is my habit, we will meet here in a while to comment on the news. In the meantime, I wish you a good time, which is the most important thing. Thank you for watching, and I hope this video has been helpful in some way. See you soon!